Welcome to another episode of the StoneLine Climbing Podcast. This episode was filmed on location in Austria, and it was a conversation I had with David Mason. I'd previously chatted to Dave, which was more of a general chat about his climbing and kind of philosophy, but this conversation was specifically about the boulder problem Bügeleisen, which we were both trying in Maltatal in Austria. We chatted a little bit about the history of the boulder. We chatted about our experiences of trying it when we first kind of heard about it, tried it, and how the trip that we were currently on was going. Spoiler alert, it was quite wet, so we hadn't done much climbing on the boulder when we filmed the podcast. But we dig quite a bit into the process of trying a boulder problem that's kind of close to your limit, and all of the kind of logistics that come along with something like Bügeleisen, as well as our feelings and experience of trying the boulder. Hope you enjoy this episode with Dave, and if you enjoy the podcast, check out stonelineclimbing.com for more. All right, Dave, here we are again. I think the last time we chatted, we were sat in the pass in like the summer when we ended. It was a bit warmer.
It was a bit more scenic as well.
It was more scenic, yeah. Now we're in an Airbnb in Austria, in Maltatal. So I guess the reason that I wanted to chat to you here was because we both essentially come for the same reason, which is to try Bügeleisen. And I thought it'd be interesting to like have a chat about, I guess, that boulder, but also why you've come to try that boulder, why I've come to try that boulder, why sort of what the process is of trying it, how it's been so far, the very little time we've actually had to climb on it. But yeah, like when were you first aware of that boulder, or to go back even further, it's an 8B plus or a V14 that was put up by Clem Loscott, do we think about 2001?
I think it was 2001, 2002 time.
Which would still make it one of the earlier 8B pluses in the world, I think.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Obviously, Raja was 1994. 96, okay.
Yeah.
So Raja was 96. I guess Dreamtime was 2000, and that was given 8C.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there will have been 8B pluses in that time period that I can't recall loads off the top of my head.
No, I don't think there's many.
So I guess, I think Clem did that 2001, somewhere between 2000 and 2002, and he did that Emotional Landscapes, which is also at Maltatal at the same time, which is kind of, he gave 8. He probably didn't grade it, but I guess it was given 8C.
When do you think it first came on your radar?
Well, I think it probably, a lot of Clem's stuff was captured by Udo Newman, and he had his thing was Houdini, and when I first got into climbing in Leeds at uni, there was a climbing website called Freak Climbing.
Right.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember this.
So there was a climbing website called Freak Climbing, which I think was run by an Italian guy called Daniel, who I have met. I think it was run by him anyway. And this website basically just it just uploaded videos.
Right.
So I guess it was like YouTube.
But this was maybe pre-YouTube.
I don't know if it was. I don't know when.
YouTube, I think, was like around 5 or 6 or 7.
Okay, so maybe it was pre-YouTube. It was just climbing, but there was videos from Font, or in fact, what's that? There's a YouTube channel now. Is it Mad Boulder?
Yeah. That just has
it just has loads of different
beta vids of stuff,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a bit like that, but with slightly better videos. I guess a bit like Mellow, but of lots of anyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, free climbing, and all of Udo's ones went up on there, and so this is like, I just started getting properly into climbing, and I used to watch the videos on there, and I remember basically. Also, the first proper VHS I ever saw was Dosage 1,
right?
Which has VHS that's like a black video for all the young people out there. That has Clem going to blow ice in it, I think.
What is that?
Blue ice. It's an alpine area in Austria.
Right.
a limestone alpine area.
Yeah.
So he goes there with, actually I don't think Udo's on it, but his mate Mungo and some others. And I basically, I don't really know why I really liked Clem. I just did. I think at the time I really liked dynoing. Wasn't especially good at it.
Yeah.
And Clem's style is he's good at dynos.
Yeah.
He was always powerful, explosive, and so I basically just really liked him, and like
Just appealed to you.
the way he climbed appealed to me more than most others. He was kind of like, I guess, one of my like people I looked up to in climbing more than like maybe lots of other people.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, freak climbing. Udo's videos were up there. There was a video of Bügeleisen, Clem driving his little Peugeot 306, unloading all his pads underneath it.
And it's on YouTube now, isn't it?
It's on
Still
YouTube
for
now,
people
so
who
you
want to
can
go and
still
have a
watch it.
shit.
Yeah,
go and have a look
I
at it.
guess Houdini has. I
think
Udo
it's
has,
on his channel, isn't it?
Houdini.com
Yeah.
on his own YouTube. And anyway, Clem does it, and it's just psyched out of his tiny mind, and it's really cool. I love his like. He's like a little child when he tops out and comes down, and he like, wah!
Yeah.
So I just remember seeing that boulder and being like, wow, that is amazing.
But so that would have been like 2008, 2009, or earlier.
Maybe a bit earlier, maybe like
Right.
2000. I went to uni at 2004, so it would have been sometime between 2004 to 2007.
Okay, let's say it was 2007.
So then fast
Took
forward,
you
I
10
guess.
years to
10 years to
come.
eventually come. So I came in 2017, eventually to Maltatal, to try Bügeleisen. Basically, there were other things here, but I mainly just came to try that. And I mean, long and short of it, I just wasn't good enough in 2017. We didn't have very good weather. The first few days we got here was really good weather, and then basically it kind of warmed up and it was wet. And you could climb on it, but it was really humid, really damp, but mostly I like split my skin, and I just wasn't good enough to do it.
Yeah.
Which was obviously frustrating, but also kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
And I guess I've never come back until now, which is like almost 10 years later, which is kind of a bit ridiculous, I think, actually. Now I'm sitting here, I think it's a bit silly.
Well, I mean, okay, if you say it was the end of 17, then I guess maybe you had some other plans, and it might be like 2 or 3 years before you'd consider coming back anyway. Then you have COVID, then you have kids.
Yeah, so
suddenly
that time's gone.
It's gone,
yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, like, for example, this is actually the first trip since 2019 I've been on that isn't Font or the UK.
Yeah. Which I think
so actually,
is
in a way,
mad.
it's only 2 years.
yeah. Which is mad, really, considering how many climbing trips you did abroad before, before that period.
Yeah, I guess 2011 to 2019, Mina and I travelled a lot. We didn't have children. Mina was making money in climbing. I got some support from Moon and Ben, and I could work remotely, so we travelled a lot and climbed a lot.
Yeah.
And then came back from Red Rocks in January 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
Just before COVID. Then.
Yeah. Came back from Red Rocks January 2020, and then obviously COVID happened, and then we had Isaac in 2021, and then we had Lily in 2024.
So why now then?
You were coming.
All right. Yeah.
To be honest, actually, that's basically it. I don't think actually. I think I'd basically written it off.
Right.
I had written it off. Basically, I'm sure we will visit lots of other climbing areas in my life still with the kids and everywhere, but there's not many boulders other than stuff in Font and stuff in the UK that I still would really, really love to do. Like, if we go back to Rocklands, that would be great. But if I never went back to Rocklands, that'd be okay. If we go back somewhere else, but Bügeleisen is one of them, and then maybe the Diamond in Norway is the other one.
No.
But that's also because I just wasn't good enough when I went there to do it. So yeah, but Bügeleisen's a pain because it's surrounded by trees. It faces north. It's at the bottom of a crag. It gets wet. It stays wet. There isn't a defined period of time when you've pretty much guaranteed to have it dry. And then it's also a little bit logistically a pain to get to. It's a bit too far to drive easily
From the UK.
Yeah. Like it's a good distance more than another like 7 hours than Ticino, I would say, from the UK. There's not loads of other stuff here from a climbing perspective.
Especially if you climb like around 8B plus and you've been here once before.
Yeah.
I guess you're scratching around a little bit more for stuff to do. So it's not like, I guess like being in Brione or wherever where you've just like, oh, well, I tried my project and then I'll go and try these couple of other 8As or whatever. I guess there isn't really that, is there?
Yeah, and also I guess the weather, bringing children to a place when you mainly need it. That's the great thing about Font. Although it's great for kids, you can go there in April and have a great time, and it's warm for the kids to be outside. Whereas if you need it to be a bit colder and stuff, it's a bit grim for the children to be hanging out. And then, so logistically, it just was a bit harder. I also had this thing. I had like a big. In 2019, I went to Australia, New Zealand, and to America. And so in 2020, I decided not to fly for the year. But that was obviously really easy to not fly for that year because it was COVID.
Yeah.
But then basically I just got into it that we were going to Fon, and I just hadn't flown for ages. And I kind of basically decided to myself, if I was going to fly, that's fine. But I wanted it to be for a longer trip. So like, okay, if I'm going to fly, I want it to be for a month or something.
Yeah.
I was happy with that. And so any littler trips, or do you want to go to Switzerland for a week? Do you want to do this? I was just like, no, I don't. But
so you would have had chances to do plenty of those, and you're just like, no, I'm not really that bothered.
I mean, I haven't, but I probably could have if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But then when you mentioned you were coming here, it basically lit a bit of a flame in me that, I haven't done this. It would be great to get back on it. It's kind of the one thing one of the few things I would still love to do. And basically I was like, if I don't just fly for a week out here to try it, I probably will never come back. So so you got basically saying, oh, I'm going, do you want to come? I was like, yeah. And although my training over the winter hasn't really featured, it's mostly been about building fitness and trying to be fitter, which is not really what you need for Bügeleisen. I have been doing quite a lot of maximal stuff, and I felt in some of the best shape. I was doing moves on the boards at the school and on my home board that I haven't been able to do previously. So I felt in good shape. So I was like, oh, it's a good chance to do it, to come.
Yeah. Trying it earlier, I mean, we chatted a bit about the fact that it's, I guess, maybe for like our level, it's an engaging enough boulder that you can kind of do the moves and kind of start to put the moves together, but it feels like the link will be, hard, but it is something that is like an enticing sort of level.
Yeah.
Does that play into it, do you think?
Yeah. I think also it plays into why maybe I didn't come back, because I basically in 2017 left here being like, it's just too hard for me.
Right,
I had done the move. I did do, as far as I can remember, it's a long time ago, I feel like I did all the moves in 2017 except one move, which I did do, but I think I had 4 sessions on Bügeleisen, and I think it took me 4 sessions to do that move, and I did it once.
Which was the second move?
I can't, so now having been on it, I can't remember whether it was the second hand move or a foot move after that move.
Okay.
But it was around the second move, either the second hand move or the foot move that comes after that move.
Yeah. And for a bit of context as well, the boulder, I mean, people can, if they're listening or if they're watching somewhere, you can actually go and have a look at the boulder. But it's essentially like a 58-degree wall that is, about 8 moves, something like that.
Yeah, you shouldn't drop it when you get to the lip.
No, about 8 moves, and it's pretty, it's all crimps. It's kind of, you start with, I guess, like a bit of a drop knee, you come out to a crimp, then it's a bunch of like high feet, awkward feet, and then you get to like 2 really small slotted crimps, and then kind of dyno to the lip.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess difficulty wise, the second move is maybe the hardest, probably for most people.
Yeah, having been back on it a little bit this time, I actually think I just think it's really consistent. Yeah, it probably is the hardest individual move, but for me, and I remember this actually in 2017, having been back on. Basically, I think I did all the moves in 2017, other than this one that took me a long time. I did do it once. And basically, it was just like, I don't think I'll ever be able to link any of the moves together. They just felt too maximal for me.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I haven't had loads of chance this trip because it's been mostly wet. But again, this trip, you know, the moves I've tried, I've actually done most of the moves reasonably okay, but I haven't linked any more than 2 moves together. Again, I've linked one move with multiple foot moves, which I actually don't think I did do even in 2017.
So yeah, I guess a week ago then you had the first day you got here, you had like an hour of trying it as it was literally progressively getting wetter in front of you.
Yeah.
In that by the end of the hour or so that you tried it, even the holes that were dry at the start of the session were becoming wet.
Yeah, so you couldn't try it.
So you
at the end of the
eventually
hour.
then you couldn't try the boulder.
Yeah.
So yeah, fast forward a week and you got to try it again today.
Yeah.
How did your kind of perception of it you know, how do you feel now after a second session?
Slightly worse.
Right.
I basically don't know. I think I actually did. I think I slightly surpassed my expectations in that first
On the
session.
first one.
Because that move that I took me 4 sessions to do, I did that move first go. If it was the second hand move, I did it first go and
Whilst
did it 3 more times.
Whilst
and didn't
looking
drop
over and giving me the finger as you
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
and then didn't drop it.
Yeah.
And if it was the foot move, I actually did that first go, and I only did that foot move once. I didn't try it again because we didn't have much time that day. So I think that day I was really quite satisfied and happy with it. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, if I'm here for 9 days, if I can have 3 or 4 other sessions on this,
Great.
I'm really going to have a really informed picture at the end of this trip. But then the snow melted and there was lots of condensation, and fast forward a week and I got my second session on it literally a couple of days before we have to fly home.
Yeah.
And this session today didn't go as much. I did the hand move was fine again, that second hand move, but I couldn't redo the foot move. So then I had to come up with some new beta, and I did actually find new beta, which I think is different beat. I've never seen anyone do it the way I did that move today. And I did do the second move and bring my feet through and attempt the third move going up to the right hand. So I guess that was kind of good. And I did the fourth move, which is the move we couldn't do that first session because the left hand hold was wet. So I did that move and that felt okay as well.
For context, were you coming here? I think you were, from what you said before we came, you were coming here not thinking or expecting to do the boulder.
No, never. Yeah.
Which is interesting. I think that would be like a surprise to a lot of people that you'd fly from the UK to Austria and spend all this money to come on a trip to knowingly kind of be like, I'm not going to do this boulder. I don't think everyone does that.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever done that before, actually. I guess people might be like, oh, that's really defeatist.
Well, I don't think it is. It's realistic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's realistic. Like, I was never going to do the boulder. I haven't been training for it. I have actually also had basically it was because the weather's been bad in the UK, I've been on the board quite a lot, and I just had a bit of overuse injury. So actually for the last month, I haven't really been able to crimp on my right hand that much because I had a bit of an A2 niggle and a bit of a dip joint kind of irritation as well. Neither that bad. I could still climb, but I couldn't crimp. I basically decided not to crimp for a month or so in order to try and be able to crimp when I was here. And I have been able to crimp. Yeah. Every hold is a crimp. Yeah. I have been able to crimp on it, which has been good. But I think therefore that strength is a little bit down.
A 1 week trip as well.
Yeah,
so,
and a 1 week trip.
I mean, like if you'd come for 3, maybe
yeah, I mean, if I was staying next week because the weather looks good and it's dry now, I'd be able to climb a bit more on it. But yeah, I basically came knowing I wasn't going to do it. I guess the idea of this trip was whether I write it off my list forever and cross it off and be like, it's just too hard for me and that's okay. Or be like, okay, I'm psyched. This is something I can do. I'll need to train hard and stuff, but it's doable. And I'm leaving without the answer in a way.
Well, I mean, luckily I guess you will have like at least one more day, if not 2, to try it. Granted, you'll be second and third day on.
Yeah.
But the conditions should only get better. It'll only get drier, but your skin will get worse. So,
because that's the other thing, you don't get loads of time on it because it's crimpy and skin dependent. Yeah, so I'm leaving unsure basically because the moves felt probably a bit easier, but I didn't link any more. I think what I basically wanted to do was link 2 to 3 moves of the first 4 together, and I haven't linked any of them.
Why do you feel like those are the ones? Because they're the most difficult for you?
I just feel like I could do the. I don't even know because I haven't been able to try the top because the top bit's been a bit wet, and also because it's the very smallest crimp.
Yeah.
I've decided not to try it because of my skin. I just remember doing those moves in 2017, and not that they were easy, but I remember doing them, and they didn't. I don't think they took me many goes.
Yeah.
So that was why, I guess.
If you go home and you decide, okay, I will actually persevere and I'll come back. How do you think you'd approach it? From a logistics perspective, when would you come? And B, from a training perspective, what do you think you'd do to train for it?
I think training perspective, I need to climb on a steeper board. So Boogle, as you mentioned earlier, is about 50. I would say we measured it the other day and it said 57.
Yeah.
It's pretty much 57, 58, 59 degrees. So the steepest board I train on is the school board, which is 52. But the school board is a totally different style to Bügeleisen. So I need to train on a steeper board. I've kind of created a bit of a map I've measured in between all the holds. And so I maybe would set a replica if somewhere, but then I'd need to find there's no point setting a replica on a 50-degree board, I don't think, because the steepness is if Boogle was on a 50-degree board, I could do it.
Yeah.
I think.
I guess your best bet then becomes
steepness.
like a kilter board, but then obviously you can't set anything on a kilter board, so you'd just be working with what the setup is.
Yeah. Maybe that tension board, because it's a bit crimpier, I think.
Yeah, or an adjustable tension board.
Adjustable tension board.
Yeah.
Or I somehow rebuild my home board to be. I wouldn't rebuild it to be 57 degrees.
No.
I think it's a bit steep for everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'd need to train on a steeper board. Ideally, I would need to be stronger in my left hand, and I'd need to be able to control my left shoulder more when on a crimp.
Okay.
So I can control my shoulders quite well on bigger holds now, but I still find it hard when on a crimp, especially on my left, for my shoulder not to come up.
Yeah.
Which if I'm then on that Gaston and my shoulder comes up, it makes it much harder. So I need to be able to control my shoulder on a crimp more, left hand strength, and because this ring finger A2's been a bit irritated, it's not at my max, but again, I would just need to work on my 3-finger front 3, I think, more for your right hand than anything else. And I'd also I really need to work on high feet, because after the first move the feet are low, and the second move I can do it with reasonably low feet, but after that the feet are high, really bunched for me. Like it feels ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean your foot is essentially the same height as your hand at one point.
And I think also there isn't that. I'm sure anyone can correct me, but basically, other than Nikki Seria, I actually don't think anyone above 6 foot has done Bügeleisen.
With the exception of Clem.
I don't know. Yeah, Clem isn't 6 foot.
Oh, is he not?
So I don't know anyone who's done. I'm sure there are, but I don't know anyone. Anyway, or not many. Yeah. So it's very bunched. I'd need to work that just because it just makes it more powerful on the crimps. I'm okay with bunched feet, but I think not on crimps, maybe a bit less so. And I'd need to work my lock strength to be able to slow everything down. So fingers, high feet, lock. Which are all things I knew I needed to work anyway. So...
are any of those things that have like transfer to other stuff that you're psyched for as well?
Well, the thing is, most of my training is... at the moment is for home
Fitness
stuff, is for longer stuff on the limestone, just because it's what's I have close to me at home. Therefore, it's probably where I'm likely to push my limit the most. And for example, the boulders I want to do at home, I can do all the moves on them. It's being able to link all those moves together. So it's more fitness based, and they're also very steep. They're both way steeper than Bügeleisen, but bigger holds overall.
Yeah.
So, but it'll make me stronger and better in general. So it doesn't, that kind of thing, I think I'm not very good at crimping, I'm not very good at high feet, and I'm not very good at locking. So if I got better at all those three, that would transfer to anything, wouldn't it?
It would transfer to a lot of stuff. Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah. After watching like all of the videos of other people, and I guess Nicky is maybe that the closest is his the way he does it is the closest to what you think is going to work for you.
Yeah, so interestingly, yes, after the first session I would say I almost would climb it identical to Nicky with the exception of a higher move. Today I couldn't do the second I could do the second hand move but couldn't do the foot move out of it the same as he does, and came up with this new beater, but it's slightly different feet than anyone else it uses as well.
Right.
And then Nicky actually changed his beater between doing the stand start and the sit start, but he changed his beater to something I came up with the other day anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess actually when I realised his beater had changed on the sit start, I was like, oh, that's what I ended up working out with George, who tried it with us the other day. He tried that foot, and I tried it, and it was better.
Yeah.
So other than that, I think I would climb it really similar. He's just a lot stronger than I am.
What about logistically then? Do you because we've kind of gone back and forth discussing, would you come in April? Would you come in December? I guess the benefits of coming in December is that it's going to be pretty much iced over. Anything that's on the top is going to be so frozen that you can just brush it off. You wouldn't have to actually. There's no melt. There's more than likely no melt. So the boulder actually, if precipitation's coming down, is snow.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either brush that off, and the temperature's not getting warm enough in the day for it to melt. So okay, you might have to climb it in like frigid temps and clean the top off, but it's going to be dry. Versus April, warmer, but maybe the boulder consistently drier. I guess for me, if I was coming, I think December would be more appealing to me. If you were coming, I guess, bringing the kids, do you still think, or do you think you would just come on your own? And
yeah, I had a little chat with Mina very briefly about this the other day on the phone. I think what I would probably do for me, if I'm to come back, and I would need to, I think for a start, I wouldn't book anything unless I was substantially stronger. Sounds a bit ridiculous, but if I was like, I knew I was stronger. Yeah. I have to be. I'm not going to do Bügeleisen in my current state.
What would you have to see? You'd have to see like more improvement on a board, or
better on a crimp.
Yeah.
Better at lock. I just would have to. I would
feel. Okay.
I'd be able to feel it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be numbers or anything.
Yeah.
I'd just be able to feel that I was a bit better, and also maybe trained more specifically for it for a longer. Like literally, I haven't changed my training from deciding to come on this trip, other than I've just climbed on some crimps a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing I would do is I think I would try coming in December, but not with Mina and the children, because having actually climbed on it today, even though it wasn't that warm, I was still in shorts and kind of tops off or t-shirt, and I felt pretty warm. And I was only doing individual moves, so as soon as you start to do more moves, I think my skin would run out very quickly if I came in April. So I think the first thing I would try would be coming in December. For example, last December was apparently amazing conditions. So I think I would try that first, coming on my own or with friends, and coming in December. And then, I guess depending on what I learned from that, if I was psyched enough and it worked, I maybe would just return in December's, or maybe I would be like, oh, well, let's try a family trip in Easter, because Isaac's at school now, we can only do school holidays, so let's go to here for 2 weeks instead of going to Font, for example, because there's lots of stuff that Mina would like, and I think it's a really nice place for the children. It's not quite as good as Font, obviously, for them, but it's still pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I think I would start with December.
And then see.
Would
you'd come here on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the pad situation, which we've realised this trip, there are pads accessible to try Bügeleisen, so you don't need to bring many pads.
I guess maybe there's changes as well, like depending on who's trying the boulder. Maybe
Yeah,
the
I'm
boulder
sure it
gets
does
done a
change.
couple of times by locals, and then they take their pads, and then suddenly there's no stash yet. I guess for reference at the moment, there's a stash of something like 6 or 8 pads,
Yeah.
a couple of ladders. So I think if you came knowing that, I mean, you may fly with one pad. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I've got a friend, I guess, who I met in 2017 who lives nearby, and I guess I'd always be able to ask him, is there a stash near Bügeleisen at the moment? He'd be able to let me know. So
because that's a massive thing. I think if you think
'cause it does take pads.
it takes pads, it would take. I think minimum is 5 or 6 to do that comfortably.
Yeah, it's a reasonable height.
Yeah.
And unless you're way over strong for it, I think it feels like you could like fire off moves.
Especially the one like where you go back, you're essentially going back over your head.
Yeah.
Feels like if your right hand came off there, you'd like kind of tumble backwards a bit.
Yeah, and because your feet are high, it's hard to then get them down.
Yeah.
In order to land.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that pad thing. So there is logistics, and then the issue is just the weather as well. Like it just doesn't seem like.
I think it is hands down like the most fickle conditions dependent boulder. Maybe not even so much conditions dependent. I think it's just if it's dry, it's kind of okay, but when it gets wet, it is wet. I mean, obviously it was getting wet a week ago when you were trying it on, what was it, Saturday, and it's Saturday today, a week later, and only today was it 95% dry.
Yeah, but also not only was it 95% dry, but you couldn't have climbed on it. I think yesterday evening, so Friday evening,
was the first time you could have actually realistically climbed on it.
You couldn't have even climbed on Friday morning.
Yep.
So it's not even that it was like actually the dryness has gone from you. You couldn't quite climb it fully today.
Yeah.
You could climb on it a lot of it, but on Friday morning, so like basically 24 hours ago,
you couldn't have done a move.
You couldn't have done one move.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the most fickle boulder problem I've tried from a conditions perspective. Like. In that way, I remember that in 2017, and it's definitely proved it again this week.
Yeah. Does that make you, what does that make you think in terms of planning a trip? Would you be thinking more last minute and jump in if the forecast looked good and you knew the boulder was dry, or does it make you think longer trip? Because to me, it makes me think if I don't do it this trip, it makes me think longer trip just to
I just
have
can't
the
do
chance.
a longer trip.
Yeah, I guess
because. I can't. The only long trips I can do now are in the summer, which it wouldn't work.
That'd be great fun in the summer.
And I've left Mina at home with the children for 9 days basically, which is amazing.
Thanks, Mina.
Any more than that, I think. I think when we just had Isaac, I went to Font for 2 weeks. I think when Lily is a bit older, I could probably do a longer trip away, maybe 2 weeks. But at the moment, I definitely can't. That's not fair on her, and I miss them as well and stuff. And so I think at the moment it would be either last minute, or it would be, I guess, accepting coming out for a week and maybe not climbing on it, but knowing that I was in better shape than even though I came on this trip thinking I was in all right shape, I've now proved to myself that I need to be in even better shape. Yeah. So I'd need to be in better shape. I think for me, it all revolves around that. I may never come back here. I think. It just might never happen because I'd basically 2017 was long enough ago that I'd kind of forgotten how good I need to be in order to do it, and I felt pretty good. I was doing moves on the board that I've never done before, and although I haven't had the most perfect last month's prep, I've realised from this trip that I still need to be better than I am now.
Okay.
So I've kind of in a year's time, I'm going to still remember that. Whereas the 10 years in between has kind of diluted my memory a little bit.
It just goes, doesn't it? You think, well, I've got better in 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 4 years since I last tried it, and it felt similar, I guess. The bit that felt easier was the start, like the first move, I think, which is mad because I think most people piss the first move. First move for me was the move that I barely did. I maybe did it 2 or 3, 4 times, and it was just like a jump. Whereas pretty much everyone else keeps their foot on. So that was the big thing that I noticed this trip, that I was able to keep the foot on for the first move. And I'm not sure if that was down to the using a different foot, or maybe just being stronger in that position or just having more tension. I don't feel like on paper I had any more tension now than I do 4 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you've brought your right
I
foot
brought-
in about a foot,
Like 6
and,
inches
and to a
probably.
more positive foothold.
Yeah,
I
I think that might have actually made
so it
a
might.
pretty big difference.
Yeah,
And I also think the second move was really hard for me before. The way I was doing it, I was just putting the left foot on and just coming in.
yeah,
Whereas this time, even though maybe it's maybe physically harder to just put your right foot up, get rid of the left foot and then kind of stab in, it's more consistent. Like I've linked those first two moves together maybe 4 times
yeah,
versus probably, 4 times in the last session a week ago versus maybe doing them 4 times total on the last trip.
Yeah,
So there's definite improvement there. But yeah, I guess I've been in a similar boat to you. I mean, yeah, I was here maybe 4 or 5 days before you, and the first hour of the trip was the only hour that boulder has been fully dry.
yeah,
So then, like you were able to do that first session, I was able to try bits of it, but which is fine when you're just working the moves, isn't it? You don't really care if like the rest of it is dry. But then at a certain point you need, the whole thing to be dry to
yeah. For you,
start to actually feel like, yeah, it's possible to do it. So I mean, I guess I know I can do it, but I think if I go away from this trip not doing it, the logistics of coming back would put me off a bit because of the weather, I think, more than anything.
yeah.
Like, I think I wouldn't want to come back here again for 2 weeks and not get to climb on it and then like climb on other stuff that there's little of.
Yeah, especially because I think you climb out the area reasonably fast because there isn't loads.
Yeah.
Like in 2017, I did a lot of stuff and I kind of left being like, oh, I haven't done that or that, but I'm not bothered about coming back for them.
Yeah.
And now I've come back and I've done like one other boulder, got close on another, basically done another boulder, but got close on another boulder, which is really, really cool, but I don't know if I'd come back for it.
Yeah, you wouldn't make a trip for that boulder.
No, I wouldn't.
As good as it is.
I really like it.
It is good.
And therefore there is even less now. Like,
Yeah.
there are a couple of things that I haven't done. I'm just not that bothered, and I don't think I could. Like Power of Goodbye is really cool, and it's another Clem test piece, but it's really crimpy. I think I would just split on it, and I don't think I'm actually strong enough to do it either.
Right.
So that's one done, and then there's Hide and Sick, which I'm actually not that bothered about. I did the AA plus on that wall last time I was here, and I'm not that bothered about. It's kind of cool, but I'm just not that bothered. Like I wouldn't come for it. So then suddenly, if basically that there's nothing else I want to do here other than Bügeleisen. So I need to be coming here to at least have good attempts on Bügeleisen. And like you say, if you're not strong enough, well, that's not great. And then if you are strong enough and the weather's terrible or it's wet, then you suddenly like, and it's not one of those places you can just nip somewhere else. Like if you're in Ticino and it's not great and
Go to Magic.
Crash, maybe go to Magic, or even in Brion or Bavona, it's a bit different. Or I can just go up through and go to Goschenen.
Yeah, and we went to Maltatal like a couple of days when Ticino was like, you can drive 2 hours and you can get to places.
Whereas here,
3 hours, 4 hours. Maybe
there's some local crags.
Yeah,
but not loads of stuff. So it is difficult.
But the weird thing that I think maybe other people don't realize is that you could be here like we are now. Pretty much every single other boulder in this area is dry, with the exception of that one. Yeah. So it's not even like you'd necessarily, okay, you might, if you've done most of the other stuff, need to go to another area or want to go to another area. But if you've come for Bügeleisen and that's wet, but everything else is dry and you've not been here before, you'd probably have a pretty decent time.
Yeah. There's definitely a good like somewhere between 1 and 3 weeks worth of climbing here. I think for someone of kind of my level, especially, I think you'd climb out a little bit quicker. But like, yeah, and it's a lovely area. I do really like it from that perspective, and it's quiet, which is really nice. But yeah, it's funny. I think Bügeleisen is probably the most perfect project level boulder I've ever climbed on for me if it was at home. So if
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
home, I would climb Bügeleisen.
Yeah, you'd have done it, I think.
Because, well, even if I hadn't done it, I would be able to do it because, like, I don't think I've ever been on a boulder where each move is kind of hard enough that it's really hard, but doable enough that it's doable. Most boulders, you know, like, you're like, oh, I can't do that move, or I can't do that move,
Yeah.
and I just can't do it. Or you're like, oh, I did that move, did that move, did that move. Okay, now I'm on to links.
Suddenly
Okay, now I'm
link.
on to red point. And even if it takes you 10 sessions, you maybe go through it. Whereas for me, unless I got substantially stronger, I think, you know, I could be my level right now, and if Bügeleisen was at home, I could climb it
Yeah.
because you could just
eventually
have as many sessions
just
as you want.
crack on, don't you?
Yeah. So it's a really great level.
And that's what I mean about it being enticing. I think it's that it leads you in a little bit because you can do all of the moves. You know, you're not coming away, like you said, being like, oh, there's one move there I just couldn't do.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, I'd have to significantly increase my level to do that one move.
Yeah.
This is like, I can just about do all the moves, but then suddenly sort of putting them together becomes tricky. It's easier then to think, okay, I wouldn't have to increase my level by some huge amount to be able to start putting those moves together.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you had a longer trip, or a trip where the weather was consistent, you'd get an idea more quickly, I think, of, okay, what does session 3 and 4 look like? I mean, you've had 1 hour followed by, 2 or 3 today. So I still think, you know, maybe, like you said, after session 1, you were quite encouraged. After session 2, maybe a bit more discouraged. But I think even if you still have 1 or 2 left, I think your opinion could change again after the next session or 2.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah.
And I guess you wouldn't decide whether or not to come back until, I guess you'd be after having the next session or whatever, maybe you'd have a more concrete idea in your head, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think at the moment, if I had to leave today, I wouldn't be rushing back, but I would make sure that I started to train, put some bits in all the time that I think would help me.
Okay.
And I think I would always think about it, that it's a possibility.
Do you think...
Basically, like I say, I didn't learn enough this trip, and I haven't learned enough to cross it off. And I haven't learned enough to be like, this is definitely
I'm
doable.
coming back.
Yeah. So, which would probably lead me to coming back.
From curiosity?
Yeah, from curiosity. I also do, although I don't think it's not my style of climbing, I do love the climbing on it. It's not what I'm best at, but it's kind of pretty perfect to me, I think, other than the fact that it's at the bottom of a cliff band. Like, it's a lovely shape, it's a good height, the rock quality is incredible, the movement is interesting and quite unique, and that, like you say, it's at that level which is really enticing for me. Like, I'm not sure if I'm good enough or not good enough.
Yeah, I guess it's also not bad enough on your skin that you're like, oh, I get a couple of good goes.
Yeah,
Maybe it would be
it would
from the start, especially when you get to those crimps at the top that are pretty miserable.
Yeah, and depending on how warm it is and things, or damp it is. So yeah, if you got more guaranteed weather here, I think I would 100% come back. Sorry, not even guaranteed weather actually, because the weather's fine. If you could guarantee that Bügeleisen would be dry.
Yeah. Yeah, because the weather can be perfect, which has been for the last week here. Dry and blue skies every day. You can go out and enjoy climbing on anything else other than that boulder.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it more difficult and more challenging as well, because you just, you're being teased then by everything else, and like the one boulder you want to try is still wet. But that, I guess that's part of the game, and I guess why maybe it doesn't get done by international climbers as much.
I was kind of thinking of that during our I guess as we've been talking, I've been trying to think. I actually don't think, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure, but of all the people I know who've done the ascent, I think you're either local or it's way below your level.
Yeah, but there's not that many international people. I guess like maybe little to no Americans.
Yeah.
Other than,
I guess Paul, like you say, but it was he's really good at crimping.
I guess,
and at that time as well in 2017, because I was here when he did it, it was quite a lot below his level. He was in really good form. But yeah, I guess, and everyone else is Austrian, Italian, Swiss, maybe
Slovenian, German.
German, and for them, all of them, it's probably no more than 4 hours drive.
Yeah.
Nicky maybe a little bit longer, but he came and he could stay for longer.
Yeah, he just hung around.
I guess if you can just hang around, then you can. So I don't think, unless you're a local, I think everyone else who has done it is probably quite above the level of it. And like Yannick just swanned in for a day.
Yeah, just does it.
January and did the sit start, but it's because it's way below. I mean, it's only 2.5 hours or 3 hours drive for him anyway, but also it's just way below his level. So I mean, yeah, for me, even if it was 3 hours drive away from me,
you'd probably still have done it.
I would still do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd put in the time.
Yeah.
Which also then got me thinking about: is there a boulder in the UK, which I can find that's about that level? Yeah, which is quite a hard thing to think. I don't know. I was trying to think.
Well, Little Women, maybe we mentioned.
Maybe Little Women, but I've never been to try that. I guess I would have to go and try that and see whether I like it or not, and whether it's about that level.
Yeah.
You said you think it's a bit harder, so
I think it's certainly sharper.
Yeah, so but it's closer. So.
But yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's close, does it? You can go split on it, and then
yeah.
Any other stuff in the UK? Any of Aiden's things, or are they all too?
Well, I mean, I just don't think I would do it. I would love to try Isles of Wonder sit, but I think I haven't done Isles of Wonder, so I'd need to do Isles of Wonder first. But in terms of, I guess, a harder project, Isles of Wonder sit, but it's a 3-hour drive plus quite a big walk in.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really hard to commit that time. I just don't really have the time, which is why the local lime stuff is great, and there's a lot of hard stuff for me. 10 minutes from I think like 10 minutes from my house there's more hard boulders than nearly anywhere in the world.
I mean, I think I might have asked you this the last time we chatted, but I'm still really interested in just the transition that you've had from essentially traveling so much. Maybe you go on like 2, even 3, I bet you sometimes you did 4 trips in a year, to now, I guess like you said, this is the first trip since 2019 that's not font. How has that changed your kind of outlook? Because the peak isn't bad, obviously, but in the summer when it's mostly limestone, do you find it just as easy now to get motivated for the things that are home that are on the lime as you did for going to Australia, going to South Africa, going to New Zealand? You do? Yeah. Wow. You're nodding your head and smiling like, I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it, but
I
guess
understand.
Life changes and that's what you accept. I climb
okay.
If I'm lucky, I climb 4 times a week, but mostly I can't think of a time when I've climbed this winter when I've climbed 4 times in a week. I mostly climb 3 times a week. And do a bit of accessory training in and around that, and so that's way less than I ever thought I would climb, and the hard thing for me is that I've done a lot of stuff on the grit stone, so there's less stuff to do, and I've done a lot of the easier stuff on the lime, so then there's harder stuff to do. But I mean, I've been really psyched by the limestone recently.
So
I guess you just
accept where you are, and
you learn to that's what I've got. Also, I think the challenge level is really good for me, and because it's fitness based stuff, it's kind of not new. I like long boulders, but all these boulders are a lot of them are 18 to 26 moves long, so they are a bit longer, so it's a new stimulus for me to train as well, which is fun.
Because that's not a style of boulder, I guess, that you maybe originally gravitated to, or
no, I mean, I used to
excelled in.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd be as good as the dynos now as you were?
No, terrible at
right.
now.
Interesting, today when we were chatting about execution, and I think we spoke about this before, that either the last time we chatted or just when we've spoke about it before, that you think that's down a little bit at the moment, because I guess you've had a shit winter weather-wise, and you've just done less on rock.
Yeah.
Is that something I mean, do you think you have ever taken that for granted, or just had it most of the time because you've had these fairly like consistent periods of climbing on rock?
Maybe. I mean, I actually don't think I am that good at executing.
Right.
I think I nearly always do boulders somewhere between 1 and 3 sessions later than I could have done them.
Because of execution, you
Yeah.
think? Right.
Yeah, I'm not very good at execution. I'm maybe better than I used to be because although I did get angry today, I get less angry and I get less frustrated. However, I do think climbing on rock and executing is much better when you just practice it, and I haven't practiced it on rock, and I've been trying to practice it on the board, but I haven't quite got, I was saying to you, I haven't quite got the levels right. I've either been like doing max moves or stuff that maybe is just I can do in a session. And the max moves things haven't quite turned into full red point things. Like I can maybe do them in 3 parts or even in 2 halves, but it just doesn't feel realistic to do them in a full one yet for some reason.
Yeah.
So I think that execution is really important. Having said that, the other thing about it is this is the first trip I've done since 2019 where there kind of is a deadline. You know, for example, in the last 6 years, I've either climbed in the UK. In that case, I can always make the effort if I'm psyched enough to go back to something.
Yeah.
Or I've climbed in Font, and I've been to Font
A couple of times a year.
other than this last year.
Yeah.
I've been to Font a couple of times a year, and so
You know you're going back.
No, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
So
How did you ever used to like? Yeah, how did you used to cope with that when
Not
you were
very
doing
well.
trips? Oh, really? You just lose your shit and.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've always been pretty bad. I'm getting better and better and better, and having children has made me even better. And I'm definitely, yeah. I think today, and in context, I guess for this, because I do think it's kind of interesting. I guess I fell off a boulder at the end of a boulder. I mean, standing up.
Yeah. It would be like falling off like the mantle, wouldn't it? Kind of like.
Yeah, but not even.
Almost stood on the top of the mantle.
Yeah, it's like standing up
Yeah,
from the
like-
mantle.
Yeah.
And I got angry. But I think the reason why I got angry is that I said to you earlier is that I'm a little bit disappointed because it was a long boulder and I feel like I've been training that, and therefore maybe I expected it to carry through a little bit more. But I also haven't had anything to gauge that expectation on.
Yeah.
Because although training might have been going well, I've been concentrating on doing volume, even of longer boulders, so they've been a bit easier, whereas this was a bit harder and I haven't quite gone into that harder end. So it was like I got angry because I was disappointed that I thought my training hadn't worked, but actually when I looked back at it, I haven't quite, it's not quite at that
The
level
same
yet.
specificity, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But also then, like you say, that time scale is that I would like to do that boulder. If I don't do it, by this time next Saturday, I won't be thinking about it.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you do think about it. And I would like to do it because I do think it's really cool. Having said that, I've had a good experience on it. Does it matter if I do it or not?
Maybe not.
No. I mean, I basically did do it today. So does it matter if I do it or not? I don't know. In that moment when you fall off, it does matter.
It matters, yeah.
But actually, when you try and think about it, it doesn't matter. The only thing I can't do is I can't say I've done it.
Yeah.
But I've basically learned everything I can to learn on that boulder.
Yeah.
I guess the interesting thing would be is, in order to say I've done it, can I execute?
Can you do it?
Yeah. And that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But does it matter if I do it?
Really.
So yeah, that's kind of I guess going round in circles. But I definitely think, going back to the original point, my execution isn't something I really have to work on. It is currently poor because I haven't been doing it.
Yeah. Because I think this is something we spoke about not when we chatted the last time, but execution being something that you think people gain from doing it, but you also think that some people just have it really well. Like I think I remember you saying, like when you've climbed with Jimmy, he just has it. But I've always questioned this thing of like people just having it. I feel like maybe Jimmy has it, but he's a professional climber and he's climbing on rock like year round.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've noticed in those periods where I'm climbing loads that I have it, and I've noticed in periods where I'm trained and then gone to climb a rock that I don't. I guess we chatted a little bit earlier on about how closely you can simulate that, or how you can train that in, without climbing on rock. What do you think is like the best way, or as close as you can get to doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think having projects on a climbing wall, whether that be a board or a bigger spray kind of thing, I think you can train it doing that. You need to, and that, and I have had that this winter. I've had boulders on my board that I've gone from not being able to do all the moves on it, and then 6 sessions later I've done the whole boulder, and then 10 sessions later I've done a harder version of the same boulder. So I've had that, but it's less nuanced on a board than it is on rock. It also means a little bit less to you because you can just go back.
Yeah. So you think, like, I guess the skills of feeling a bit of that pressure, feeling a bit of that desire to do the thing, feeling all of those feelings, you just have to be out there and feel it a bit.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think, Jimmy is good at executing. When I've climbed with Ty, when he was really going well, I noticed that he was very good at executing. But you are right, those guys climbed. The times that I'm noticing it, they've also been climbing on rock loads. So that was what we would say, is that we would also be better at executing. But what I think I'm saying is that not only were they good at executing, but maybe they put less pressure on themselves. They're less bothered about doing.
They didn't care,
even though they are bothered about.
You care, but you don't care. Yeah.
And therefore they can execute.
Yeah. That's what I've always felt about it. Like, you have to train yourself not to care, even though you obviously care. I mean, I guess everyone works differently, don't they? Like, some people really thrive under pressure and time pressure and feeling like, I need to do this boulder today because it's going to rain tomorrow, or because I'm going home. I don't operate in that very well, and I guess you don't either. So I've always had to try and convince myself that, like, there's always another go, there's always another day, even if it's not today, and almost try and convince yourself you don't care, but still be able to give 100% and climb as best you can when you're on it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I guess that works, and then sometimes I think if you're able to do that on progressively harder climbs, then I think you can do it. I think if you just go from, I don't know, whatever you climb indoors, or if you, I don't know, even if you climb outside, like, if I went from trying to do it on 7C trying to do it on 8B or 8B plus, I don't think it works for me.
No, you need to be trying the right level.
I need that stuff in the middle. Do you feel the same? Or, I mean, I guess you mostly operated at that level when you were, like, climbing, when you were traveling way more. You said you were mostly doing stuff in a session to 3 sessions.
No. I was saying that I think normally things take me 1 to 3 sessions longer than they could.
But when we spoke in the last time, I think you said you mostly were climbing boulders that you could do in 1 to 3.
Yeah, maybe a bit
kind of sessions. Okay.
Reasonably quickly. Yeah. Whereas now, though, I don't. That's changed a lot in that time as well. Like, now I don't do that much stuff in that. But
is that because you're at home?
That's because I'm at home. I don't have as much stuff.
Yeah.
I should do stuff in that level.
You'd be scratching around a bit, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Unless you're travelling 3 hours at a time.
Yeah, so that's something I did. Again, I've said to Mina, I would like to try and do day trips a little bit more when I feel like it's possible, which as Lily gets a little bit older, I think a day trip once a fortnight maybe is possible. But then also you have to be psyched. Like, I used to be totally fine to drive 2.5, 3 hours to a boulder problem and then drive 2.5, 3 hours back. But the idea of doing that at the moment, like...
Yeah.
Like, I miss time with the children and I need to have the psych. But having said that, normally once I go and try a boulder, I get psyched enough to do that. So,
how do you, like, is there anything, because I guess probably that what you just said will be resonating with a lot of people out there, that they have kids or they have full-time jobs, or they, maybe they get that day, a fortnight or whatever it is to go out and climb, but maybe they don't go, and they maybe either stay very local, or maybe they go to the gym even and do a session indoors. Is there anything you think you could say to those guys to like try and almost not encourage them, but like ways that you've found maybe to motivate yourself to get out on those days where you think maybe I'll just go and have a board session or something? Or
Yeah, I think there's a few things. I think often when I've done longer days, it's actually because maybe the weather is better in a place than it is nearer to home.
okay.
So I'm like, okay, I really want to climb on rock, and in North Wales the weather is good and it's bad in the Peak District. For example, in January there was a lot better days in North Wales than there was in the Peak, so I could have driven over there, and I nearly did a few times. I just didn't. So I guess you're normally chasing weather a little bit.
Yeah.
I think like also the thing to remember is, and I have to remind myself this is, I don't think I remember many day trips where I was like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that.
Right. Okay.
So like, even though you might spend 5 hours in the car,
Yeah.
like, or less, but I don't remember coming back, because whether you might go with friends, so then you have a laugh with friends, or you might go on your own, and it's just some time on your own of sitting in the car, listening to a podcast, listening to music, or just kind of looking at things as you're driving and like thinking about things. So it's time for you to mull over stuff.
Yeah.
Then you're normally going to a reasonably nice place to go climbing.
Yeah.
So then you're in a nice place and you're outside, and then you tend to be doing the thing
Get you
that you love
what to do.
doing. So like, I guess it's like, I guess you're like, okay, I want to go and do a day trip. Oh, I've got to drive for 5 hours. So you've immediately put the negative in, but then think about all the positives from if you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
as soon as you set off, you probably won't think about the drive or the negatives.
One thing I've noticed is I think sometimes the negative that people maybe put in is I'm going to go and not do this boulder, or I'm going to go and try something I can't do and not get. I think I've spoken about this like a bunch before with different people, but that fear of like not getting anything done.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like a picking the right level of challenge for you, or do you think it's like a, accept that you might do a day trip and not climb anything? And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. You have to decide on what you want from the day trip. So if you want to go to the day trip and try something that's at your max level, you have to accept you might not do it. If you want to go to on a day trip and climb 5 new boulder problems, then you need to drop your level a certain amount. So maybe it's having a plan for the day trip and being like, okay, this is what I want to do. Okay, I want to go to a new crag and I want to try this, this, and this, and they're all below my level. So it'd be great if I did 2 of them or all of them.
Yeah.
Or okay, I really want to try that boulder problem. I'm really psyched to go and try it, but I know it's going to be hard for me. So, like, I guess what's realistic? Okay, maybe I want to do all the moves, or I want to do half of the moves, or whatever. And I guess depending on maybe where you are is what you'll do.
Yeah. Because I guess different parts of the country, isn't it? You're going to, or different parts of it anyway, you're going to have different things accessible to you, maybe project level stuff or volume.
I also think, though, I meant kind of like where you are with your psyche at that time.
Ah, okay.
Like I have some friends who, when they haven't been on rock for ages, all they want to do is go climbing on rock. And so they're like, okay, let's go to drive 2 hours and we'll go here and we just want to do lots of movement on rock. And so that they might want to do a new boulder or two, but the idea is just doing lots of movement on rock.
Yeah. Whereas if you've done other stuff, maybe you're happy to go and sit under something and not do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
different time in the season, I guess, as well, isn't it? Like
different time in the season, different time.
Start of the year, maybe it makes more sense to try and do a few boulders, get going, and then maybe towards the end of a season you can start to think about trying stuff that's a bit harder for you.
Yeah, I think it's just in general as well about your psych level and about what you're psyched on. Like for me at the moment, I guess I was like, if you're like, okay, you're going to drive 3 hours. If I'm like, okay, I'm going to drive 3 hours to a boulder problem. If I get there and do it really quickly, I'm actually like, I'm not really bothered. I'll just stay at home.
Yeah.
Whereas
you almost want it to be in that level where I might not do it.
It's more that I would drive to something that I might not know I won't do, or I might like question.
Can I do this in a session?
So like, I haven't been on rock for a load, so I might drive to an AA, and for me that, because I haven't been climbing loads on rock, maybe that
might be
AA
about right.
is the like, oh, I might do it, I might not. Whereas if I drove to an 8B, I'm like, okay, this is definitely going to be a project. I'm not going to do this in a session.
Yeah. So you'd be more likely at the moment to drive to something 8A level, or maybe
Or
something,
maybe.
or
It would be hard.
okay.
For me, it would be something that's a level. It's either something that it's questioning whether I would do it in a session, but it'd be quite a good challenge.
Or knowing that you probably couldn't do it in a
I
session.
definitely won't do it in a session.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just like I'm working out whether it's doable and whether I enjoy it.
Whether you'd want to go back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's probably got a good way of looking at it. So yeah, I guess you're preparing yourself for what it would be. I mean, when you were doing that in years past, like when you drive over to Wales or drive to the lakes or Yorkshire, or whatever, I think I remember you saying you'd go and maybe do the boulder like really quickly in 10 minutes, and then you're just like, oh well, I'll go home.
Yeah.
And you'd be fine with that.
Not all the time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes, not all the time. Like, and maybe I would go and find something else. I think it depends again I guess what's nearby and what you site for and things like that. So, yeah.
Okay. To close then about of for Bügeleisen. Right now, do you feel like that boulder is important enough to you that you'll come back?
I think sitting here, I say yes. After being at home for a month, I'm unsure because again, as soon as I start to have time away from something, it becomes less important to me.
Kind of fades, doesn't it, a bit in your head?
But my enjoyment of it, like I remember walking up to that boulder last Saturday morning, having not been there since 2017, and I was as excited to try it and as excited to see it as I remember being in 2017. So that's a really nice feeling.
Yeah,
so coming back, it didn't disappoint.
It didn't feel like, oh, here we go. It felt like, I'm psyched
like
to actually.
Like, oh, this isn't as cool as I remember it being.
Yeah.
So, if anything, it was like maybe slightly cooler in certain ways. Like the holds were cooler. The fact that the holds are still on that wall in my mind, because most rock would have crumbled. Most of those holds would have fallen off most kind of rock.
Yeah.
The rock is such good quality. So, I think sitting here now, I would say, I would like to come back. I'd need to be a bit better. I'd need to come at a different time of year just to try it out.
Yeah.
And I guess then you see how you do it. I probably wouldn't do if I had another trip like this. I think that probably would be it. I think I would.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't keep having trips like this from a weather perspective, and I can't keep having trips where I'm not good. I'm not quite good enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there are other, I can just go to Font. Because like, for example, like I was going to go to Font for a week early, so we're going to Font for Easter. I was going to go to Font a week early and have a week in Font on my own, and then Mina and the kids would come out.
But you've blown that.
I've traded that week to come here.
Yeah.
Now I can't. I wouldn't want to just keep doing that. No. I can always climb on stuff in Font, and I love Font.
Yeah.
So.
But then, is there anything in Font that means as much to you as this boulder?
No, but there doesn't have to be.
Right.
Because I love being in Font more than I like being anywhere else in the world. So like, it doesn't matter that one boulder means more to me, because for me just being in Font is better. It's
more than just the boulder; it's the whole.
I just love it. It just gives me. I just.
You get excited thinking about it,
like
I can tell.
And yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
I can't really describe it. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, you can't argue with it being as good as it is.
Yeah, I just love it. I love being in the forest. The mountains are beautiful, but for me, again, something funny about the forest. I love the forest.
Yeah, see, Font's like I do love Font, but it's kind of in places it's kind of grubby.
Yeah.
You know? And I guess everyone's a bit different. I think I asked Solly like mountains or coast, and he said coast.
Yeah.
If you ask me mountains or coast, I'm saying mountains. But if I ask you mountains or forest, you're saying forest.
Always forest, yeah.
So
forest.
Everyone's got their own thing, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Nice one.
Thanks, Dave.
Cheers.
Let's hope we get to climb tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully get on it tomorrow.
Christ's sake.
Hope you enjoyed that chat with Dave about all things Bügeleisen. Just to add like a little bit more information, I managed to extend my trip and climb the boulder, and Dave has already making talks and noises of a replica boulder. So that might be something that I try and chat to Dave about in the future, or get a little bit of video footage of. So check out StoneLine Climbing on Instagram if you want to see any of those things. And yeah, check out stonelineclimbing.com, and thanks for listening.